Organizing and refactoring your test code is really important. It makes your test readable and maintainable. In this lecture, I'm going to show you how to organize and refactor your test code using two types of tests. The first test will require logging in, and the second test will require logging in Facebook. Our first test here is going to submit a request from the contact page and verify that the thank you message here is displayed. Our second test is going to share a product on Facebook, and once the Facebook login page is displayed, we are going to enter our Facebook credentials, log in, and then click the share link button here. Now the question is, how do you organize and refactor your code to deal with these two types of tests? Let's go to the desktop. The first thing you need to do is create your project main folder. I'm going to call my project main folder Traveling Tony after the website. And I'm also going to create a folder that holds all my tests. I'm going to call it test. Once you have created a folder, the next step is turn these folders into packages. The way to do it in Python is by adding the empty init.py file here. I'm adding this file in the test folder as well. So now our folders are packages, which means that we can import modules from it. Next, you want to define the test parameters, which is what I'm doing in the constants.py file. What are my test parameters? My test parameters are the browser that I want to test, the base URL, the Facebook credentials, the Facebook username, Facebook password. And here, I also want to specify the locator strategies that I want to support in my test. I want to support ID, name, XPath, and CSS selector, but you can add more, class, etc. Then, I want to define the base test case. What does the base test case do? The base test case defines the basic setup, the basic teardown, and it also wraps the Selenium call, driver.get. So our setup here just defines the web driver depending on the browser that you want to test. If you want to test on Firefox, then you're going to use the Firefox web driver. If you want to test on Chrome, then you are going to use the Chrome web driver as well, etc. The next thing is we want to wrap the Selenium calls. Why do you need to wrap the Selenium calls? It's to avoid code duplication. So here, for example, I'm wrapping the expected condition visibility of element located. I'm calling it wait for element visibility. You see that this method here supports several locator strategies and returns an element. Same thing here. I'm wrapping element to be clickable. I'm calling it wait until element clickable. It supports several locator strategies as well, and it returns an element. Next, I want to wrap switching to a window, which is what I'm doing here. I want to wrap finding an element. And finally, I want to wrap filling out a field and clicking an element. Now, cool. We have defined our test parameters. We have defined our base test case. And we have wrapped the Selenium calls. Next, we want to write our first test, which is sending a request from the contact page. The first thing you will notice here is that our test inherits from the base test case. So our test here navigates to the contact page, verifies that the first name field is displayed, then it enters all the required information, first name, last name, comment, clicks the submit button, and then verifies that the thank you message is displayed. So this is how you deal with a test that doesn't require logging in. Now let's see how to deal with a test that requires logging in. To deal with a test that requires logging in, you need to write a piece of code that logs you in. So for example, here, we want to log in Facebook. The test case class here is going to log us into Facebook. How does it work? So we are going to navigate to the page URL, verify that the quantity dropdown is displayed, click on the Facebook link, and then switch to the Facebook login page. Verify that the Facebook email field is displayed, which is what we're doing here. Then we are going to enter the Facebook credentials, Facebook username, password, and then click the login button. And then finally verify that the share link button is displayed. How do you use this piece of code in your test? Now let's write our share on Facebook test. The thing that you notice here is that our share on Facebook test inherits from the test case class, which means that our setup method here already logs us into Facebook. So the next thing we need to do is just click on the share link button. So this is how to organize and refactor your test. But this is just the first step. We'll see how to organize and refactor a test better using page objects.